been gone for a while. So, let's do a quick semi-little game review. This is one that I heard about from a while ago from Stop Skeletons from Fighting. This is Way of the Passive Fist. It's an indie brawler game that caught my attention, specifically with its 16-bit graphic style and sort of old-fashioned arcade style, only using sort of parry and dodge, attacks instead of just a full-on classic brawler. And it's pretty good, if not a tad monotonous at times, like most brawlers typically start to get after a while. Also, it's more or less a learn-as-you-go game. Eventually you get enemies that are, of a different palette swap that, their moves change from time to time in order to basically make you have to change up your strategy a little bit. And then it's all about, wearing down the opponent, wearing down their stamina until they're weak enough that you can kill them in one quick hit. Because kind of the story of this game is that you're on this planet that is incredibly close to the sun, and too much movement and such will wear you out, just exhaust you. Not entirely the case, which is what I thought it was going to be when I first went into this, but really it's more or less dodging and parrying are the best thing to do in order to weaken your opponent. And also, as the game goes on, you'll earn additional abilities like increased health and special moves that where when you parry a certain number of times successfully without getting hit, you'll get a power move that'll usually allow you to kill an opponent in one hit, which is nice. So I kind of like and I kind of don't really like this game, and I'll get into good specifics about why. For one thing, the tedium really did set in pretty quickly because, I grew up with a lot of very traditional brawler and fighting games, like Final Fight and stuff like that. So this was a big departure, always having to be about patience and a little bit of proper timing. But you can get the system down pretty quickly. It does change up after a while when you get opponents who attack much faster, sometimes with different movesets. How early on you'll get these big guys that'll throw in a swing and then try and grab you. But then you get these other guys who will try and grab you first multiple times and then throw out a swing at you. And then you get knife throwers, bomb throwers, and then people that'll throw 2 knives at one time. And then other characters with different types of attacks. But what really gets pretty annoying at times is where, sometimes with the knife throwers and stuff like that, is where, they'll throw out a projectile 2 times, and if you're off time or just not quick enough, because what you have to do is parry the first one and then dodge, the second one in order to grab it and throw it back. Which is cool, because I've never actually seen anybody do that in a brawler before. But, it's all about the proper timing, and what can be really annoying is if you're trying to fend off one enemy in front of you and somebody is behind you, if you're not facing them properly in order to dodge or parry, you're going to get hit. And then what's worse is that in some of the later stages, you'll have background attacks that'll be coming in, missile attacks, and then off-screen lasers. And when you get knocked down, you have no invulnerability frame. So if you get up in the middle of one of these laser attacks or a bombardment, you're going to get hit, which just feels kind of unfair. And there are, of course, checkpoint systems, and then there are health pickups every once in a while. Not a lot, especially after just long segments. And one thing that I kind of don't like is how the game just kind of seems to work in segments. It seems, on its levels where you'll be going through and then you'll stop and then you'll have like this number of enemies that you have to defeat in order to progress. And it does that a lot, and then you're graded on it because there's also a bit of a leveling system, but basically you just unlock, new abilities as you go. And I got past the second boss, who The bosses, I mean, they make sense when you get used to them, but not by the system that the game is telling you, where it's always best to parry and dodge and wait for your opponent to wear themselves out and then attack them. But in this case, you have to power up in order to use your power move, because that's really the only way that you can hurt them, is by hitting them with your special attack. Otherwise, like if you just go up to try and shove them away, which has been your normal attack on normal enemies, that doesn't do anything to them. So that was kind of annoying. And then, of course, the extra enemies that'll come in all the time, but that's obviously meant so that you can build up your power attack. But man, I was hating the second boss. Actually, I was hating the second level in general, with all the off-screen laser attacks and then the occasional bombardments. Those were kind of annoying because sometimes hit detection would be off, where even when I thought I was far away enough from a bombardment, there were quite a few times where I got hit. And there were even quite a few times when I had my power move and then I just suddenly couldn't use it, either because I tapped it too quickly or something like that, or just kind of little things like that that really got on my nerves. And I mean, thankfully because of the checkpoints, like if you get to a segment before a boss fight, you don't have to worry about repeating any previous segments. But I had that happen quite a few times, where I got through one long segment, but then because I died on the next segment and didn't get to a checkpoint, I had to repeat that again. And eventually this game just kind of got on my nerves, where I just wasn't having any fun. And I think the system in this game is interesting and certainly different and new and pretty cool. Anybody with a good patience factor and somebody that wants a game that's going to be very challenging, this could be a lot of fun. It's just not really for me, though. If you guys are interested, certainly check it out for yourself. It's on the PlayStation 4. I believe it's on Steam. I don't know where else it is. I think I got it for like $15. But if you're interested and you like this new style of Brawler, check it out. And if you have played it, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy.